Yo, what it do? This your boy Tez. Another episode of Hot Dimes TV. Where we bringing that fire and we keeping it 100. Hey, I know y'all missed me because I missed y'all. I didn't do an episode last week. It was a lot going on in sports. I know we had a week off before the Super Bowl game, so I'm like, let me just wait a week and see what happened. And oh my gosh, do we got a lot to talk about. So I'm going to be dropping a couple videos this week. I'm not going to cram everything into this video. We got to talk about the recap of the AFC and the NFC championship games. I got one game right, and I got one game wrong. Now, the game that I got wrong, I said I wasn't going to be surprised. But I didn't expect the Kansas City Chiefs defense to hold up the way they did. That's a little hint of, what we're going to talk about. But let's get right into my predictions, man. I had the Eagles winning 28-24. And I think they won like 31-7. And then I had the Bengals winning 31-28. And then I think the Bengals lost, 23-20, 24-20, something like that. I'm 34-15 all time. And in the playoffs right now, I'm 7-3. No, 8-4 in the playoffs. So that's not too bad. I'm not going to spend too much time on the Eagles and the Niners game because we saw what happened. I think they was going to lose even without the injuries. So it's kind of tough to discuss and see what that game could have been because we didn't, get a chance to see that because, of course, all the injuries that happened in that Eagles and 49ers game. But nevertheless, the Eagles got the job done, 31-7. Not Kansas City. The Niners had a great season. They really did have a great season. They lose Trey Lance. Then they lose Jimmy G. Then Brock Purdy come in. I think they win, 11, 12, 13 straight? Something like that. Something crazy as a rookie. Get to the NFC Championship game. Then he gets hurt. Then you put the back of the quarter. They're on their fourth quarterback, y'all. They're on their fourth string quarterback. And then he gets hurt. Like, that's tough. But the Eagles got the job done, man. I feel like they've been getting doubted all season. And here they are in their Super Bowl. It sounds kind of crazy because there was my team that was like my dark horse team before the season even started. And they definitely had the best offseason in the NFL. And then they were the best team really on paper in the NFL too. They went all in. They were making trades during the NFL season. They made some moves before the season even started, and that's what you love to see when the team is literally all in. They already had weapons and stuff that they, could grow on, and then they even take it up a notch. You love to see teams, go all the way in. They was the most consistent team throughout the whole year too, basically. So, with that being said, they in the Super Bowl. I just want to get a couple things out. I am going to spend a little bit of time on the Eagles. First of all, shout out to Jalen Hurts. A lot of people doubted Jalen Hurts basically his entire career, even from when he was in college. Jalen Hurts is nice, y'all. So now all that stuff about, that we know the team around him talented, but he is the reason why that team is able to excel and do the certain things that they are able to do. Because we saw what happened when he went out, when he missed those last two games of the season. Stuff like that. And the Eagles look totally different. So, Jalen Hurts is nice, man. I'm happy for him. First Super Bowl. He young. I think they say he would be the fourth youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Or he might just be the fourth youngest quarterback to be in a Super Bowl in general. Bro. This is what I want to talk about with the Eagles. Now, with winning and Super Bowl and success, does luck play a part of it? Of course. Anybody in their right mind would tell you champions, great players, anybody like that when it comes to sports, luck is involved. So let me get a couple things out the way with the Eagles before we move on, like I said, because I ain't going to spend too much time because to me, we really haven't seen the Eagles been tested. The Giants game was easy. And people were actually this is not discrediting the Eagles. I'm just saying that's how dominant they were versus the Giants. Then we know the injuries with the Niners, and then all season they've been dominant. So I feel like this game in this Super Bowl is crazy because I feel like this might be their first test, especially if Patrick Mahomes is as close as to 100% as he can be. I feel like they ain't been tested all season because they've been dominant. So that's not their fault. That's credit to them because they, like I said, they've been the best team on paper basically all year. Now, what I will say, have they had the easiest schedule? Of course. The playoffs, like we said, with the injuries with the Niners and the Giants were easy matchups, of course. But you only can play who's in front of you. And I hate when people use that like easy schedule or weak cop out because let's say they lost some of them games that were so easy that they were supposed to win, then we'll be saying, oh, the Eagles are not real, the Eagles are frauds, and people were already saying that. Some people are still saying that, and they're in a Super Bowl, which to me is crazy. You only can play who's in front of you, and then they were winning those games. It's not like they were close games. A lot of those games they were beating teams by double digits. So if you're playing the team that you're better than, and you're not playing down to the level of their competition, you good. Now, sometimes did they do that? Maybe so, yes. But for the most part, they did good. So I'm not one of the people that like to use the excuses of, oh, it was easy and oh, this and that and oh, they're lucky. I mean, they in the Super Bowl. So I'm saying at the end of the day, you did something right. Like I said, does luck play a part to a certain extent? Of course, luck plays a part to a certain extent, but you only can play who in front of you. I feel like they're having a great season. I feel like they've been doing everything right. So, shout out to the Eagles, man. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. Shout out to that whole staff. I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl, man. I just want people to stop discrediting Philly. Like, I just don't understand. How can you not? Like, if you're saying they're frauds, that's what it's crazy to me. Like, the team is good. Look at the players they got. Look at how they're performing. If you want to say they're lucky and stuff like that, okay, maybe so, fine, cool. But don't sit up here and act like the team is not special, is not talented, is not, you know what I'm saying, they don't have gifted players at each position, because that's just false. Then we're going to get to the game that we know that's enough on them. I'm going to talk about them later this week. I'm not going to get my predictions yet because it's too early. I'm not going to get my predictions yet because it's too early, but I'm already leaning a certain way. But I ain't going to get my predictions yet. That was the NFC Championship game. Now we're going to get to that AFC Championship game because that game was amazing. What can't Mahomes do at this point? Now, like I said, I picked the Bengals to win because I really thought that the ankle injury was going to play a part of that game. And if we're being honest, the play where he ran for like those yards at the end, and if the player don't hit Mahomes and he don't go out of bounds for that roughing the passer, that would have made that kick even more difficult. So we don't know if he would have made that or not. We could have potentially went to overtime. We don't know what could have happened. So that's where it makes it a little bit interesting to see how that would have played out. But at the end of the day, Mahomes did what he had to do, bro. He found the way, one ankle, one leg, making acrobatic throws. The defense of the Chiefs, see, this is what I try to tell people about the Chiefs these last couple of years. Have their defense always been the best? No. But they make plays when it matters, bro. They held that team to 20 points. That's impressive. That's impressive coming from a Green Bay Packer fan and an Aaron Rodgers fan, where I always say the defense letting you down. Mahomes, we know what he gonna do on offense, and we know how gifted and talented and what Andy Reid brings to that. You know what I'm saying? His mind and his schemes and stuff like that. Travis Kelce being the best tight end in the league, not even close. Mahomes being the best quarterback in the league. With all that being said, you still need your defense to do something. And if you go back and look at these games, of course, besides the Super Bowl, but that was the Super Bowl that they lost, but that was more on the offensive line. Couldn't protect Brady. I mean, not Brady. Couldn't protect Mahomes. I think that the defense for the Kansas City Chiefs is a little bit underrated. They show up when it matters. They make big plays when it matters. And we can't stop talking about Chris Jones. Oh, my gosh. This man, Chris Jones like that. He needs to get some more flowers. That if you don't know who I'm talking about, that's a problem. Chris Jones is like that. That man on the defensive line is a problem. And see, what I saw from the Chiefs that I thought, and most people thought we were going to see from the Buffalo Bills, was the Bengals get affected by that pass rush. But we didn't see that. But versus the Chiefs, they struggled because remember, the Bengals had 3 offensive linemen hurt in that Bills game. I can't remember how many offensive linemen were hurt. If the same 3 were still hurt in that Chiefs game, but we saw the pressure affect Joe Burrow. Mahomes, like I said, did what he had to do in that game. He was making throws when it mattered, but ultimately I think the defense deserves a lot of credit, and I don't want to talk about. I'm not going to name the player from the Bengals, but that was a tough way. It's so tough in this league because it's like in real time and speed, it's hard to kind of tell maybe where the out of bounds might be. If we sitting at home, it's easy, and then even playing in real time, it might be a little different. But if you kind of already see him going out that way and giving himself up, that was just a bad penalty. You can't afford those penalties in a game like that, and that's what ultimately it did. Like, I don't want to say that's what caused the game, but of course it was a big influence on the outcome of the game. So the Kansas City Chiefs, they got it done, bro. They got it done. It was a good game, man. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, this 5 straight AFC Championship games, and Mahomes and the Chiefs been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. Yes, 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. That's impressive. If he win this one, he'll already have 2. That's crazy. What the Chiefs and what Mahomes is doing right now, no exaggeration, is Brady and the Patriots weren't even doing this. 5 straight AFC Championship games, 3 Super Bowls already. He already won 1 Super Bowl, got a MVP in that Super Bowl, got an MVP in the league. Bro, ask yourself this. All honesty, even if they lose this Super Bowl, let's say they lose this Super Bowl and he won it too. If Mahomes retired today, he in the Hall of Fame. He got the ring. He got an MVP. 5 straight AFC Championship games. Nobody ever done that. He already in the Hall of Fame. So for him, this is a great topic and talent, because y'all know who I like on this podcast. Y'all know which players I like. Y'all know which team. This is me not trying to interject that, but this is a conversation I've been seeing them having. If we being honest, what Mahomes is right now, basically, he don't want to be. And I just heard somebody say this today, the Aaron Rodgers of, like, his era. Because for the most part, anybody know, when it comes to quarterback play and talent-wise, forget the accolades, the best we ever seen do it was Aaron Rodgers, until now we see what Mahomes is doing. So if Mahomes is able to keep playing the way he's playing, which I think he will if nothing happen, then you got to put him, and it's hard for me to say this because I love my boy, but it's, you know what I'm saying? This Hot Dimes TV, where we bring the fire and we keep it 100. So that's what I'm going to do. And I love Mahomes. So at the end of the day, my guy already asked me this question. I said when it's all said and done, if nothing happened, of course I can put him above Aaron, because I think he's going to have the accolades to go with it. So that's what he's basically trying to stack, you know what I'm saying, those accolades and those achievements, instead of just being the greatest talent that we see at the position. For me, for a while, it's always going to be him and Aaron. I think everybody would say that, but for Mahomes, it's like separating itself from being just the greatest talent we've seen to building your resume now. Because I had this conversation too, that's also a great topic point. I don't think you got to necessarily, what Brady done is just, it's crazy. It's crazy. Literally, I ain't even talk about that yet. We ain't even talk about Brady retirement. I'm going to get into that next. It's crazy what Brady has done. The 7 Super Bowl rings, I think people look at that now as like oh, you got to do this or you got to get to that, because that's never been done. That's why he's the GOAT, because you can't argue the accolades and then the stats and stuff like that. You can say talent-wise and context when you dive deep into it like I do. That's a different topic for a different day. But ultimately, if somebody was just to ask me who the GOAT was, I would have to say him because of the rings, because of his stats. He a great player, bro. Now, let's say Mahomes get like 4 or 5. Let's say he get like 4 or 5. You can put him. You can't be mad at somebody for saying he's the GOAT. And I'm gonna give you an even better one. Now y'all gonna like this, because people already doing it with LeBron. LeBron got 4. Jordan got 6. Because if we doing it like that, then Bill Russell and them would be the GOAT. Kareem would be the, because it's not just rings. You got context matter, stats matter, who you playing, the situation, especially in football. That's why I like to dive into it a little bit more when it comes to football, about who the GOAT is and arguments like that, because it's a lot of elements that go into it. But at the end of the day, if he get a couple more, he doesn't have to necessarily get 7 to be considered the GOAT. I'm going to just leave it at that. So, yeah, man, those are my predictions for the AFC and the NFC Championship games, man. It was amazing. I had to recap that because I know I didn't talk about it. I didn't have an episode last week. So, yeah. Now, let's jump right into a person that I brought up already, because there's so much to talk about. I'm too excited. Sorry if I'm forgetting stuff, or I'm kind of like all over the place, because it's a lot that happened. Now, let's talk about Brady retirement. I think for sure this time he is done. I think if he wanted to play, could he play still? I actually think he's still better than half the quarterbacks in the league. But the way he looked this year, and the way he looked in that playoff game, I think it's time for him to call it one. He had a great year. Ultimately, it probably would have been better if he retired last year because remember, it looked like it was going to be another comeback, like how he did the Falcons when they were down, like I want to say 27-10, something like that. It was crazy how much he was down versus the Rams, and it was looking like he was going to come back, but ultimately he did it, man. He did look bad in that Cowboys game. Let's just call it spade a spade. He looked bad. So, you know what I'm saying? You hate to see him be remembered like that, but nobody going to really remember in the long term that last game versus Dallas because of what he has done in his career, man. And it's like we get to the end of it's sad for me, but at the same time I'm excited because we get into the end of an era where the Phillip Rivers, the Brett Favre, the Peyton Mannings, the Eli, the Ben Roethlisberger, Brady, all of them. The last one really standing is Aaron Rodgers, which is crazy. But then the league is in such good hands in both sports, basketball and football, because you got Jalen Hurts, you got Mahomes, you got Josh Allen, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Joe Burrow, you got Trevor Lawrence. Like the list goes on. Like it's crazy. So we really in the great, we really in great hands, man. But Brady deserved all the flowers, man. I really don't see nobody breaking a lot of those records because it's kind of like the LeBron thing. When you playing as long as both of those guys are playing and still playing at the level that they were playing, like his career in his 40s was crazy compared to even his 20s and late 20s and early 30s. He had like two separate careers, which is crazy. And then, like I said, when you're playing at the level that they were still and just keep building and building, it's going to be hard to beat that. And the 7 rings, I can't see nobody getting that. If anybody got even a chance to do it, it would be Mahomes. But I just don't see nobody really getting 7 rings. It's crazy. Just like a lot of people didn't see the scoring record being broken that LeBron's going to break in these next 2 games, which I think now that's going to stand even longer than Kareem did because, sorry to go off topic a little bit, because like I said, how late in their careers they're playing and how great. A lot of players can play late into their career, but we don't know how great they're going to play. So when it comes to the Brady thing, let me know if I'm wrong. I can't see nobody breaking and getting 7 rings, man. So, like I said, that's enough football talk because I really want to talk about basketball. Now what's going on right now is crazy. The trades is crazy. Let me calm down. I'm gonna get my predictions later this week. As far as the Super Bowl goes, it's some more NFL topics that I want to talk about, but I'm gonna make some separate videos about that. I gotta talk about my boy Aaron Rodgers and what the Packers should do. You got, excuse me, you got Derek Carr in that situation. It's a lot to talk about. That's why I said I'm excited, and I'm not gonna jam it into one video, but I'm gonna break it down. Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I didn't see that happening. I know they had said that they was in the mix, but I didn't think that was going to happen. If we're being honest, this is not the Laker fan in me talking. It's not me being biased or nothing. Anybody would tell you, for the most part, we thought LA to Kyrie was a done deal. And the reason why that we thought it was a done deal was because, remember, earlier in the season, he requested a trade, and he said he wanted to play for the Lakers, but ultimately, that didn't happen. Everybody was waiting for it. And then this time around, it was like, okay, soon as you saw that he reported that he wanted to be traded, we were like, oh yeah, he going to the Lakers or the Clippers. I thought he was be in either. If it wasn't the Lakers, it was going to be the Clippers. And you know why I say the Clippers? Because what the Nets owner ultimately came out and said that he didn't want to trade him to the Lakers on purpose, bro. Why would you do that, fam? Why would you not? Come on. I know all the stuff that happened off the court, and I'm about to dive into that and all that. Why you just couldn't bless the man? Basically, he said, well, you screwed me over, so I'm going to screw you over. I'm not going to, send you where you want to go, which ultimately he still can't end up with the Lakers because he a free agent, and we don't know if Dallas is going to extend him. We don't know if he's going to stay in Dallas. So ultimately, I wanted to see it this year, though, because the quicker the better. But it didn't happen, man. He went to the Dallas Mavericks. Most of the time when you have situations like this, when it's trade, they try to honor the player, where they want to go. But in this situation, the Nets just been dysfunctional. It's been a hot mess for the last 3 years. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people say that Kyrie's wrong. Who to blame? Kyrie, KD, the Nets. I'm going to go with overall, you got to look at the Nets, bro. Kyrie has been quiet for the most part. He has been quiet for the most part when it comes to when that last situation happened, when he got suspended and they gave him that list, which was BS, that he had to do all this to go through just to play a game. He did that. He come back, kept his head, you know what I'm saying? He chilled. He played basketball, had his head on straight. Then KD gets hurt. Okay, they had a tough schedule. So when you look at the schedule, like, if they can just win at least half of these games, they'll be okay. Which, he was balling. The Nets still were, relevant. They dropped from the second seed to like the fourth or fifth. But like I said, they had a tough schedule. So all you really wanted Kyrie to do was just keep you at 500 until KD comes back. And then what really was the icing on the cake, which was reported, that it was so much stipulations in the contract to where Kyrie like, y'all really don't want me here. Which is true. Y'all keep blaming Kyrie. He did everything the Nets was asking him to do. I'm not talking about last year. I'm talking about when it comes to this year. For the most part, he did everything that you asked for him to do. And then for you to put in a clause that he has to win a championship as a stipulation, are you serious? Where have we ever heard that before? That you got to win a championship. Come on now. Come on, Brooklyn. Come on, Brooklyn. So if I'm Kyrie, yeah, get me out of here. Like, what's the point? Y'all don't want me here, so why would I stay here? So I feel like a lot of people are blaming Kyrie when y'all really need to be looking at the Nets. And then far as, like I said, KD to a certain extent. Now I heard somebody say this morning, it was stated perfectly. KD get labeled sometimes as a bad teammate and not being a great leader and stuff like that too, which I don't think the case. This is the case. I feel like when you're a great player, a lot of people just assume automatically that you're going to be like, a Tom Brady or a great leader or a great motivator. That's not the case. I'm about to give you a person, not to compare to KD, but just like another superstar who's on that level where he's not doing that at all. It was stated that KD, the problem is he's just not, which is, it's fine. Hold on, let me break this down. Hear what I'm saying. Don't overreact. He's not like a Kobe and a Jordan when it comes to, he should maybe, went to Kyrie like, hey, we trying to win a championship. What you doing? Not saying that he has to be like Jordan or Kobe, because everybody is their own guy. Everybody is their own player. So you don't necessarily have to be like that person. But just from the standpoint of what Kobe and like what a Jordan would have done was, they wouldn't have tolerated the stuff that happened with Harden and Kyrie. Now, not everything, because certain stuff, it was nothing he could do about it. I'm just saying when it comes to, playing, not the vaccination and stuff like that, but just certain times where Kyrie was sitting, maybe, KD could have gotten his ear a little bit more like, hey, man, we trying to win a championship. What you doing? And I ain't saying that he didn't do that, but it wasn't reported that, that he did that. And that just don't seem like that's a KD thing to do. But as far as him being a bad teammate, I don't think he a bad teammate. Only thing you can really blame him for, of course, because he wanted Harden in Brooklyn. He wanted Kyrie in Brooklyn. And then another point that they made that was great too was when they asked him, about the coach. I don't think he necessarily wanted Steve Nash, but he just said it was fine. Don't say it's fine. Get rid of him. Back with it. I think I left off at KD. Like I was saying, I just want him to be a little bit more vocal. Same thing when he was with OKC, and then what kind of happened with the Russell Westbrook thing. But I'm gonna give you another player that's just a good example of kind of what I'm talking about. Kawhi Leonard. Now he at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to this, because he just leads with his play. He not galvanizing nobody. He not a motivator. He not making. He not doing none of that, which is fine. But my problem is when they try to say that players like that are motivators or are, people that's going to bring people together, make them better. No, he's leading with his play, and that's fine. I think it's a bad stigma, whereas when you're automatically a leader, would you like them to do that? Yes. Would you like them to be like a Tom Brady, something like that? Yes, but everybody's not like that, which is fine, but you just got to have the right coaches, the right guys on the court that can fit that. So that's what I'm gonna talk about with that situation, man. At the end of the day, get all Kyrie back just a little bit and Brooklyn out of order. That's all I'm gonna say. Now let's talk about the Dallas and the fit of how I can work with him and Luka. I think actually it's gonna work pretty good, and depending on how much Luka adjusts, it can be scary. People keep forgetting Dallas got to the Western Conference Finals last year, and remember how him and Brunson worked together. Brunson was underrated, as we can see. I'm so happy for Brunson. Did the New York Knicks overpay? Of course, stuff like that. That's what you got to do in this type of league. A lot of people, it was one of those things where the Knicks like kind of had to make a move with you not going to get them. You know what I'm saying? Because then what's worse, not getting them and still, being the same regular team that you already was, or, trying to acquire talent and, ascend. I think that was a very, very great pickup. I was interested. I said I was going to watch him closely this year. And oh my goodness, he's been playing amazing. He's been playing amazing. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. So as you saw last year, he worked pretty good with Luka. And not only was it a stress reliever, another person that can handle the ball when Luka didn't have it, they actually mesh really well. Now we know what Kyrie is talent when he on the court. We know what Kyrie does. And I'm going to compare this situation. I know a lot of people, it's kind of mixed with it. When he played with LeBron, both of them are ball dominant. But it worked out because you can really play Kai off ball and as really a scorer and like a two guard, which I think that's what's going to happen with Dallas. Now, the difference between like Luka and Bron, I feel like Luka is a little bit more selfish, though. I don't feel like he is more selfish. Players talk about it. Coaches talk about it. He going to have to, just a little bit more. It's going to be interesting to see if he can do it. I think he can. And I think he will. Like I said, so if you compare the Brunson with the Luka Doncic situation, and then the Kyrie when he was with LeBron, and then now you have them playing together, and we know Brunson is not on the same level, not to disrespect or nothing towards Brunson. We know he's not as talented as a Kyrie. So with them playing together, bro, it can get real dangerous and tricky. It'd be interesting if they support and cast and if they make some more moves, because I feel like defensively they're really weak, especially with giving up Finney Smith. He was the one guarding the best players for the most part. Like whoever the best player was on the other team or the score, stuff like that, he was guarding them. But I think they might not be done making moves. And then the Nets, it could be interesting too, because like I said, they didn't trade him to the Lakers on purpose, it was reported. And then there was some other reports about maybe KD leaving, but I don't think the Nets really want to do that. It seemed like they're trying to stick with KD and get him some more help. So I don't think they might not be done. But it'd be interesting to see what Dallas does, because we still got a couple more days into the trade deadline. And also, if you look at the West right now, it's wide open, really. Besides the Denver Nuggets, bro, who have been balling. Shout out to Jokic. The team finally looked like, they're healthy. So besides them, earlier on, you could say the Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies kind of, I can see why they annoy a lot of people in the league, because I feel like they talk a little bit more than they probably should. They act like they won a couple or something like that, but they haven't. Are they talented? Of course. Are they deep? Yes, they're amazing. But yeah, since John Morant said that statement talking about we ain't got to worry about nobody in the West, we looking at the East, they haven't been playing good. They probably like 2 games or 3 games under 500 the last time I looked, which was a couple days ago. So you got them. You got the Warriors, of course, who still, you can't never count them out, but they haven't looked the same, especially on the road. So all that being said, with them picking up Kyrie and them being in the Western Conference Finals just last year, it can get real tricky, bro. That's all I'm going to say, man. I can't wait to see some other people make some moves this year, man. Like I said, I'm not going to cram everything into this video. I'm going to make some separate videos where I talk about my Milwaukee Bucks. I got to talk about the Aaron Rodgers trade. I got to talk about the NBA trade deadline in general. I'm going to give my predictions, man. And yeah, bro, I'm excited. We got the All-Star game coming up. We got the Super Bowl coming up. What more can you ask for as a sports fan, man? So make sure y'all stay tuned this week for the videos, the shorts, everything, because I'm going to be bringing that. What we going to be bringing? I can't hear you. Hot Dimes TV, where we bringing that? And we keeping it 100. I see y'all in the next video.